and welcome to a brand new episode of the Hormonal Mama podcast. On today's episode, I'm talking with Dr. Karlie Causey. Now, Karlie's story is really interesting because she's got two things going for her. She's a chiropractor, and she co-founded Jen and Keri, not to be confused with Jess and Karlie. Now, if you listen to the episode, you will understand what I'm talking about. But to give you a little background, the founders are Jess and Karlie. They named their company Jen and Keri. Now, what is Jen and Keri? Jen and Keri is a company that created, ready for this? A sports bra / nursing bra. So a comfortable, beautiful sports bra that also functions as a nursing bra. Did you know that this existed? I didn't, and now I do, and it's incredible. I wish I knew when I had my kids. Stay tuned for this episode. Learn all about this incredible story of how they founded this company, why they knew there was a need for a sports bra, nursing bra, and of course, a little bit about her work as a chiropractor. Stay tuned. I'll see you in just a minute. Hi, Karlie. Welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you here with me today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited for us to finally be able to chat.
I know we've had to reschedule so many times. I'm so glad it's really working out this time. I'm like, yes, I saw your name on my calendar and I was like, it's here. The day has come. I'm so psyched. And I'm psyched because you have such, we were just talking, you have a really interesting story. There's sort of a few stories, which I think is really cool about what you do, why you do what you do, and the fact that you do a few different things, which is something I'm always really excited about. I really like, because I'm that kind of person. I do multiple things, and it's always exciting to me when I meet other people who also like to do a variety of things. In your case, they're kind of related, but they're also different.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to know where to start, but I think a good place to start, and I'll explain why, is talking about your retail company, Jen and Keri.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of reasons I want to talk about it. Number one, the name, because I know the story there, and I think it's a really funny story, and I want our audience to hear the story. But I also want our audience to hear about what your company is, because I think it's really cool for a lot of reasons. What you make is really, really great, but also why you chose to start this company. So let's start there. Let's talk about Jen and Keri, what it's all about, and let's start with that.
Yeah. Okay. My company is called Jen and Keri. I own it with my partner and one of my closest friends. Her name's Jess. So obviously our names are not Jen and Keri, but so we started the company after I had my first son. I have two sons. They're 3.5 and 9 months.
Nice.
And it was just, I was in that kind of newly postpartum phase. I've always been really into fitness. I'm a strength coach. I'm a chiropractor. I just love like working out as like a sort of a part of, who I kind of feel I am. And it really makes me feel like myself. And so I was trying to get back into the gym and I just could not find a sports bra that was what I needed. The nursing sports bras that were out there, I just honestly, I just thought they were ugly. Like, I just don't love the
It's
clips.
a fact.
Yeah, I don't love the zippers. I don't love the Velcro. I just wanted a bra that like I could work out in, feel like myself, and then go home and not have to like, you're all sweaty and you're like ripping the bra off and the baby's crying because it's so hungry and you're like, I was like, no, I don't want that. Well,
Insanity. The pandemonium is my favorite
pandemonium.
word.
And so I was telling my friend Jess, and she's just really good at like research. And so she, took it upon herself sort of to like get on the internet and look for, she's like, there's gotta be one, so we're looking and we find that there's not, right? There's nothing that really suits what I'm looking for. So anyways, we just sort of get this crazy idea, like, what if we made it, And so we started, over the course of time, like cutting up bras and like, okay, what if we did this? And we, I can like very rudimentarily like sew very poorly, but so I'm like sewing and we're like, what about this? And cutting up shorts and turning them into like parts of bras. And anyways, we ended up doing an online, like a whole course on how to basically start a company and of this type, and then how to begin scaling it, and all the people that you need as far as the process goes, design, and where you're going to do production, all this. It's just so much for us to learn. So neither of us
Mhm.
are in that world. So
Right.
anyways, it took about a year and a half, and it took a lot of different samples, and we did hire someone to do actual, like, sewing and patterning and all that stuff for us. Um, we really were just so specific about what we wanted to create, and we wanted really soft fabric, but we wanted it to be really compressive so you could do high level athletics in it. We toyed around with like low neck, high neck. We went with a high neck because we just felt like that really like holds the girls in and doesn't make you have to
Totally.
worry about like cleavage hanging out. And
All the good fun stuff.
yeah, totally. And so it took a long time, but we're super proud of the product we made. And yeah, we've had such good feedback from a lot of high level athletes and
That's
just
great.
people who want to get back into the gym and like feel like themselves, you know? And
Yeah.
but the name, which is how you started, I guess, is as we were developing the bra, we're like, okay, well, we need a name, we need and we were toying around with all these names. And then we sort of were joking about how notoriously everyone gets our names wrong. Like Jess, we're both born in the 80s, early 80s,
Mhm.
right? And so they're just Jess is like, everyone calls me
Yep.
Jen all the time. And I was like, people always call me Carrie, like constantly, Dr. Carrie. I'm like, I don't even correct them anymore.
I don't know who that
And
is, but
so,
sure.
yeah, yeah. And so we were like, oh, Jen and Carrie, those are like our alter egos. They're like your cool mom friends who like know all the deets about like new motherhood and
Right.
nursing and all that stuff. So we named the company Jen and Carrie, but it it did totally backfire because
Oh,
now
no.
no one gets our name right
Of
and
course.
everyone calls us. Yeah.
Oh, it must be Jen and Carrie, that's right. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we get emails, and like to Jen, and we're like, and Jess signs it back, Jess, and we're like,
Ah, I love
so we'll
it.
get another email to Jen. We're like, that's fine.
Sure.
Yeah.
That, I just wanna tell you because the reason I wanted you to tell that story is because I know the basics of that story, and for me personally, it sounds really weird, but it touches really, really, really close to home for me because everybody my whole life I'm also an '80s baby, I was born in 1980,
Yeah.
so I totally understand what you're talking about with the name thing. My entire life, even to this day, 42 years later, everybody thinks my name is Carla.
Yeah.
Always,
Yes.
always, and it's been a
So
joke
funny.
since I was
Yeah.
little. My maiden name is Bendler,
Okay.
Bendler, and for some reason, people think it's Blender, and so I would
Carla
always
Blender,
get
like,
mail to Carla Blender, and I'd be like,
who
"What?
is she?
Wait, is Blender even a name? What are you talking about?" And so when I
Oh my
saw
gosh.
the story, I was like, "Oh my god, why didn't I name my business after my
Yeah.
fake name?" And I just think it's so funny, and it's brilliant though because even though, like you said, it backfired,
Yeah.
it's still one of those really fun stories that you'll always
Yeah.
have,
Yeah.
especially the fact that people still get your names wrong. It's
Yes.
still that like, are you kidding? But it
So
makes it so
funny.
much more fun and hilarious. And I just think that's great. And the other thing I want to mention about what you actually create, the sports bra, man, I think that's so smart that you
Thank
for a
you.
couple of reasons. One, you were like, this isn't working for me. And just like I do, if it's not working for you, there are people out there
Right.
it's also isn't working for.
Totally.
And in that postpartum period, everything's crazy anyway.
You
But when you're
know.
trying to like feel like yourself again and you're
Mhm.
trying to get back into the gym if you're, someone who works out and, and is that, what's the word I'm looking for? Active might be the,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
best word. It's really hard to feel motivated
Mhm.
when, for a lot of reasons, one, your body is already completely different than it's ever been.
Right.
But
Yep.
two, if you don't have the right, I really want to use the word equipment, and that's not the word I mean,
Yeah,
but
like, totally, the right supplies, like, the
yes,
things that you need, you know? Yeah.
like a sports bra.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if you're not nursing, right? Even
Right.
if you're not nursing, your breasts still have changed. And
Totally.
you still can't like just go to the gym and be all willy nilly. Like you said,
Yeah.
girls are flapping around here and there, and you're kind of like, I guess I'm not going to work out today. And it
Yeah.
hurts, especially if you
Yeah.
are nursing. It's painful, it's
Yeah.
uncomfortable, and you need something who can really that can, yeah, that's not quite what I meant, that can, hold you in, but comfortably. There's so many sports bras out there that are
Yeah.
horribly uncomfortable. And then there are the
Yeah.
ones that don't give you the compression at all. So
Right.
then you're kind of like, well, what am I supposed to do now? Just like not work out to the level I want to because I can't be
Yeah.
comfortable?
or you have to sacrifice how it looks, and
Mhm.
that was what what you touched on is actually a really big piece. And we had people give us feedback as we're going through this process that even people who are just working out in their like garage gyms or going for a run, it's not like they're like flaunting around the gym in the sports bra, right? But they're like, if I feel more like myself, it does make me feel motivated to
Yes.
work out. And that goes across the board for whether you're postpartum or not, right? Like men and
Mhm.
women and everyone. If you go to the gym in like a baggy, saggy shirt and big sweat, I mean, some people they love it. But if you get like a new fresh outfit, like you feel motivated. You want to like,
Yes.
you want to do that. And so I think anything that can help like just I'm a big like movement person. Like
Mhm.
just get out there, move around a little bit. If it feels good, continue. If today is like, oh man, this doesn't feel good, okay, then call it. But you like
Right.
moved and you tried. And so if it takes a piece of equipment or a clothing to encourage that, then like I'm all for it.
Yeah. For sure. I totally
Yeah.
agree. And that absolutely 100%. I mean, from personal experience, and I'm someone, in recent years, I'm not big on the gym, and that's just,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
issue.
Same. Yeah,
Man, I
it's
used to be. Whew, and
like
I
the
miss it. I love
gym, the
working out.
yoga, like wherever, like I said, running, even just
You
like
just have to
doing
feel,
stuff
yeah.
in your living room.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Totally. But you make such a good point. If you don't physically feel good, and a lot of that
Yeah.
is what you're wearing. It's not just comfort. I mean, I know for me,
Right.
if I look in the mirror and I'm like, "Oh, I don't like that." I kind of lose motivation. And it's not just about working out. I mean, it's kind of
Right.
like that
Right.
with most things in life. We
Yeah.
we buy the clothes that we buy for a reason. We
Right.
don't just
Yeah.
buy clothes to cover our bodies. We wear them
Right.
because we like them. And
Right.
it
Yeah.
it that translates to exercise. The
Yeah.
same thing. If you don't feel good about what you're wearing, it's hard to be motivated to want to work out. That's been my issue for years. If I
Yeah.
Let's say my husband and I used to work out together, and I would, like, when we were getting married, we were working out together to sort
Yeah.
of get our bodies in shape before our wedding. And I would be like, "All right, well, I'm going to throw on your shirt." And I
Yeah.
didn't I didn't feel motivated to work out because his shirt didn't look cute.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
that's
know.
always
It's
what would happen. I'd
yeah.
be like, "I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I don't like this." And so I just think that's really great. And I think it's
Yeah.
awesome that you took that idea and you didn't just say, "Well, that sucks that I can't find what I need." Oh, well. You said,
Yeah.
"Then I'm going to make it happen." And you did. And that's just
Yeah.
hugely inspiring, but also super cool for anyone who needs a really good sports bra in that postpartum period.
Thank you.
You
Yeah,
got it.
it was kind of funny because we had some friends try out the bra early on, and Jess and I both played volleyball in college and play beach volleyball now. Well, not so much anymore, but we used to. You know how that
I
goes.
hear you there.
But so we had some friends who were playing beach volleyball. We brought our prototypes out and we had them wear them and play. And it was pretty funny because a couple of the gals don't have kids, and also one of them has pretty big breasts. And they're playing volleyball and we're like taking some pictures and then we were like, okay, how does it feel? And asking them all these questions. And a couple of the girls were like kind of confused and they weren't really getting it. And they're like, well, it just looks like a normal bra. And we're like, yes, that's what we wanted you to say. Like they didn't realize that like they didn't even know it was a nursing bra. And so because they're
Yeah.
not like in that world, they didn't realize how it worked. And so we were so happy. We were like,
So
that's
great.
exactly what we want. We want people to like be able to wear it and just like feel like themselves. And, of course, I'm proud to be a nursing mom, but I also want to just like work out and not have to worry about this clip popping off in the middle of like
Yes.
whatever. And
Yes.
so, yeah, it was pretty funny that they just had no idea and we were just so happy.
I think that's so cool. I do. And gosh, I'm so excited. I wish I knew about it when my kids were born,
Yeah.
cuz for me, I was a nursing mom. I was a nursing mom, a pumping mom, a formula
Yes.
mom,
All
because
the
I
things.
I couldn't
Yes.
feed my I couldn't make enough milk to feed both of my kids,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I did it anyway, and I was like, "I'll feed these kids."
Yeah.
But and I say it like this, my husband and I, when my kids were, I don't know, a couple months old, we were like, "All right, let's start working out," cuz I wasn't feeling good about my body, he wasn't feeling good, and we had a whole routine. Put the kids down for their second nap of the day,
Hmm.
we'll go work out for an hour. And it always sucked for a couple of reasons. One, because my sports bra wasn't comfortable.
Yeah.
I had one that was so tight that I couldn't breathe. It hurt. And I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
okay. And then I had one that was so big that it didn't do anything. So it
Yeah.
hurt for the other reason, because
Yeah.
my boobs are flapping around, and that hurts when you're a nursing mom. And the other reason, and so that this is the other part that's totally related, is when we'd wake the kids up from their nap, it was time to eat.
Yeah,
What did mommy
totally.
have to do? Oh, mommy has to go get changed, get my nursing bra on, or just take it off completely. And that's a pain in
Yeah,
the butt.
totally.
I mean, I'd just been working out, waking my kids up. I just want to get them up, sit, relax with them. I don't want to have to
Yeah,
go change and do this whole thing.
I
So it's
know.
kind of like, man, I wish I had this a couple of years ago.
It sounds like such it sounds like such a small thing, and I can imagine, like, if you're not a mom or a parent, that it's like, "Whatever, like, go change your bra," but it is such a
Mm,
big deal, and
yes.
I should mention too that we did design the bra. It took longer because we really wanted to make sure that it was, also used for pumping. So,
Oh, that's great.
so you can pump and nurse in it both. We've had some good feedback actually that because of the bit of compression that pumping actually for some people is easier because it's kind of
Oh,
helping, like give
oh
some
my gosh.
compression to the
Oh,
breast.
I so wish I had
Yeah.
this 3 years ago.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's
Sorry. I
okay.
get worked up. But
I know.
that's so incredible because and I'll tell you why. Because again, for someone like me, right? I mean, my whole thing's complicated. I'm not going to bore you with it. But for me, I mentioned before that I had a very low milk supply, couldn't
Yeah.
make enough for my kids, but I wanted to nurse. I wanted to pump so I could give them as much as I
Yeah.
had.
Yeah.
And pumping was really hard for me. It was
Mhm.
this huge straw. I can't tell you how much massage I had to do. I had to do so much just to get the milk flowing.
Mhm.
So hearing
Yeah.
that, because I know I'm not the only woman out there with a low milk supply, with
No.
struggles with pumping. I thought I was. I'm not. I
Yeah.
learned, whoa, I'm
No.
really not. So it's really cool to hear that because knowing that that extra compression can really help get things flowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, that would have been life changing for me. Man, Carly, where were you 3 years ago? Come
I
on.
know.
You
Well,
were having a baby.
I was saying, yeah, I was having a baby too. Our kids my
The
older
same
son is the
age.
same
Yeah.
age. Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
funny.
And the other thing about that too, which sort of touches on what you said, is that the bra that we made, when you're buying stuff in postpartum, I my second kid, I haven't been so bad of like just Amazoning everything, in the middle of the night.
Yes.
But
Oh,
the first
I know that
kid,
life.
it's bad. And so
Yes.
we really felt it was important that we were creating a product that you could wear, after much longer after you're done nursing. So we have had people that are still wearing their bras, months, years later now.
So great.
Um, because it's just a sports bra, right? And
Mhm.
it like if you can wear it under your shirt, no one can tell the difference. You can't tell it's a nursing bra because I just feel like if you're gonna buy something, you're gonna spend a little bit of money on it, then it should be something that lasts. And I am not
Absolutely.
about like throwaway stuff.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have done some throwaway stuff that after that first kid in the middle of the night
Oh,
trying to
yeah.
like, "Oh, is this gonna help my baby sleep? I don't know. Buy it, buy it, buy it." I've tried to like calm it down, and so
Right.
that was important to us is make it a little more sustainable, something that's comfortable. And we're working on a more of like an all day bra because it is compressive, so it's not made to be worn all day. We
Right.
have had people, and I'm not wearing it right now, but I'll wear like a bigger size. I'll size up and then I'll wear that one. I can wear that all day if I want. So we have a lot of people email us about the sizing, even though of course we have a size chart, but we just kind of walk people through like, okay, if you want to use it for high level athletics, here's you want to go a little more compressive. If you want to wear it for longer or like do something more low impact, like maybe a yoga or even like spin or something, where you're not
Yeah.
like, I mean, some spin, I guess you're like bouncing around a lot, but it just depends. You could wear like a bigger size and then wear it for longer. So, but we are working on a
Exactly.
more of a medium impact and also like a no impact. So something you could
Mhm.
sleep in. But this stuff like takes longer and more money than you ever want. So we're
I hear
working
you
on it,
there. I hear you there.
yeah.
But
So
that's so
that will be in the
exciting.
works. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's really great, and I really, really love that perspective of, like, not just you want it to last, but, like, you want it to last. You want it
Yeah.
to be able to hold up. You also just wanna be able to keep well, I'm wording I'm sort of repeating myself, and I don't mean to be. I'm not sure how to word what I'm trying to say. I can, like,
Yeah.
feel it in my brain, but I think, it's something as simple. I'll give you sort of an example of what I'm getting at. Totally different, but related. So I still like my kids are 3.5, and
Yeah.
I still sleep with my pregnancy pillow. And my pregnancy
Yeah.
pillow is
Right.
one of those big ones. It's like a big U,
The you.
right? And it's
Yeah.
more than
Hmm.
that. It's like the length of my bed. This thing is
Yeah.
huge. My poor husband's always like, "Can you move over a little bit?" But the point is, My kids are 3.5, and I'm
Yeah.
never getting rid of that pillow. When that
Yeah.
pillow dies, I'm getting a new one,
Yes.
right? And I've had this thing for 3.5 years because it has held up, but it also I still want it. It's not
Yeah.
just that it's
Yeah.
held up. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not just
You
that it's
still
held
want
up
to
really
use it.
well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what
Totally.
I was trying to say. So I think
Yeah.
that's really great. And it's really, really exciting.
Thank
And,
you.
just makes me very happy. I'm so excited
Yeah.
about it. I mean, I'm like sitting here, like
Thanks.
jumping out of my seat with excitement, but, I'm an
Yeah.
excitable person. So, I did want to ask you because, you do have these experiences of not just being, this incredible person who decided to create this new product that doesn't exist, that now does exist, that people
Yeah.
love, that works, but you have this really cool background, right? You are not just this, CEO of this company or co-founder, but you also are a chiropractor and a strength coach, like we talked about before. And those
Yeah.
are two things that again mean a lot to me. I mentioned to you before we started recording that my background is as a massage therapist.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what I've done for the past, God, 22 years now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have a lot of experience working with chiropractors, learning
Mhm.
from chiropractors. And I think it's super, this is going to sound weird. And it might not sound weird to you because you're, a woman and you're a chiropractor. But early in my career, it was very difficult to come across female chiropractors.
Mm.
All the chiropractors I ever met were men until I started working
Yeah.
for a chiropractor and his wife, who was also a chiropractor. And it was a kind of a moment for me where I was like, and this makes me sound stupid and whatever, but it was like that, whoa, women can be chiropractors too. And that
Yeah.
sounds dumb because it's kind of like, what is this, 1950, Kara?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? But it was really kind of neat. I was like, oh, wait a minute. This is such a male dominated field. There's a
Yeah.
woman here. Wait a minute. And more, I see more and more
Mhm.
women who are chiropractors. And it's very exciting to me because I think it's such a cool's not the right word. Maybe it is. For me, it is. Profession. One
Yeah.
that I've worked so closely with. And I don't know. I just want to talk about that and the strength coaching that you do.
Yeah.
I want to hear a little bit about sort of your background, how these things came into your life, and
Yeah.
if they're still, active parts of your life.
Yeah, yeah, so touching on the male-dominated thing, it is a male-dominated field, or it has been traditionally. What's funny now is I think I'd have to look at the stats, but at my school, I went to University of Western States in Portland, Oregon, and I did my master's and my doctorate there, but I think now it is closer to 50-50. There's way more females there, which is awesome, and they are just, like, so involved in I'm a sports chiropractor, so I have a special certification in that, and they are so involved in the sports world, and, it's super fun to see because even more than, like, just traditional chiropractors, the sports world has been very dominated by males.
Mhm.
Um, of course, there's women, who are really I've looked up to my whole career. This is my 13th year, I think. Yeah, I graduated in 2010 from chiropractic school, so,
Gosh, that was 13 years ago. That's a
yeah, isn't
weird
that crazy?
sentence.
I know, it feels like it was, like, 3 years ago, and
I say
also,
that all
like,
the time.
40, you know?
Right,
Um,
absolutely, all the time.
so there's women that have been doing this for a long time that I have looked up to a lot, but, there's more and more coming up, and now it's, like, not weird. There's not, like, 2 women who are,
Right.
like, badass chiropractor, sports chiros. There's, like, a bunch, and
That's
so
so
that is
awesome.
really, really cool. And the camaraderie within that group is also really, really cool. So, that's been fun to, like, kind of learn about and meet these younger generation docs, and I say younger, but, like, sometimes they're older than me,
I
because
know
I
what you
went
mean.
I went straight from college into grad school, and so,
Mhm, I
but
get
it's,
that.
like it's a really cool group. So, yeah, I found chiropractic. I went to a chiropractor my whole life. My mom had a pretty bad scoliosis, and so
Mm,
she found chiropractic later in life, but she wanted us to just kind of, get checked out every once in a while, and if we had something pop up, then she would, we could just kind of keep an eye on it or work on it or whatever. So,
yeah.
so I saw a traditional chiropractor growing up, just kind of like crack, 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 come back whenever, and when I was in college, I was actually planning to be a strength coach, and that was where I was going towards, and sort of was like, I don't know if that's, what I want to do. And I was looking at osteopathic medicine, physical therapy, kind of just trying to figure out like I want to do something in sports and help people but I don't know what that looks like. And I went home and I saw my chiropractor and he was like, there's this kind of emerging field of sports chiropractic and it was like one of the only light bulb moments I've had in my life. I was like, I'm going to go. I'm going to do that.
Mhm.
And he was like, yeah, you're going to check it out. I was like, no, I'm going to go. I'm going to be a chiropractor. I'm going to go to
Can I
school. And I
I
was
I
like, I
need
just like
to
knew.
I
Yeah.
have to just interrupt and say, even though it's
Yeah.
totally different, that's
Yes.
exactly what it was like for me when I decided to go to massage school, which may or may
Yeah.
not sound weird to you, but for me, I had no
No, I
idea that
just
was a career. I had no clue.
yeah,
I didn't know massage therapy was a thing. But when it's not a story I'll get into, but when it
yeah.
came up in conversation with a friend and she was like, "What do you mean you don't know this is a thing?" And it was
Yeah.
suddenly like, this is what I need to do with my life.
Yeah.
This is what
Yeah.
I want. And it turned out best decision I probably ever made other than like having
Yeah.
marrying my husband. I mean,
Totally,
it's
yeah.
that
That's
light
my
bulb
other light bulb
moment,
moment. Yeah.
right? And like you, I didn't need to do much in the way of research. It just felt right and it turned out
Yeah.
to be. So that's cool. I didn't mean to interrupt
Yeah.
you.
No,
I love
no.
hearing stuff like that.
Yeah, it's kinda crazy. It always sounds kinda crazy. But yeah, my other light bulb moment was meeting my husband, and same
Yeah.
thing, I was like, "Oh, this is the guy," like, it's just
Exactly.
so weird.
Yes. It's
Not
crazy how
everyone's
life is
story
like
is
that.
that, but yeah.
No, but even things like that that aren't related to careers or love, it's crazy in life because we all have those kinds of moments where it's suddenly like, "Yep, this is it."
Yeah.
Whatever it is,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's crazy when then you look back a certain period of time later and you're like,
Yeah.
"Whoa, look at me now." That
Yeah.
whatever that
Yeah.
thing was right, and you knew it at the time. I just think it's really cool, when you have those moments where it's just
Yeah.
this is the thing.
Yeah.
And
There
it's
we
neat
go.
it's really neat to hear that though about a career, especially because from, what we're talking about and everything that you're saying, I can understand why it was so like, yeah, this is right. You have this background as an athlete. And that's something that I think I'm not an athlete, but my husband's an athlete. I've learned, I mean, let me sort of back up. I was a cheerleader, and even though
That's an
that's
athlete, come
it's right.
on.
No, I absolutely, and I loved it, and it's one of the things I'm most proud of because I loved being a cheerleader. I wish
Yeah.
I could have been a professional cheerleader. I would have been so good, but it didn't work out that way. But for me, I think I think it's a very I can't think of the words. Oh, when you know exactly what you want to say, but you can't think of the words. It's such a being an athletic person or an athlete, someone who sports are very meaningful to you, and I
Mhm.
say this because of my husband, knowing my
Yeah.
husband, being with
Yeah.
him for all these years and understanding how important sports are to him to play and be involved with, and how
Mhm.
there's just something about broad term sports
Yeah.
that is so important to him. And it's not just about watching sports, keeping up with,
Yeah.
I mean, that's sort of a different aspect, but physically being involved,
Mhm.
playing whatever sport it is and enjoying it. I think that there's a lot that at least it sounds like in your case when there was this opportunity to have a profession that's specialized.
Mhm.
But it's
Yeah.
almost like specialized and then specialized more. It's kinda
Yeah.
neat and it's very powerful, I think. So I think that's what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say. So I think that's super cool, that that's sort of how that happened for you.
Yeah. Well, you touched on something that I would like to, like, digress into for just a sec, which
Yeah,
is, um, our company motto actually is "Every mom is an athlete." And so we get a lot of
I like
questions
that.
about that, but the way you're just talking about athletics kinda makes me wanna bring it up a little bit, which is,
Mhm.
not everyone thinks of themselves as an athlete, right? Of
Right.
course, like, not everyone thinks of themselves as a writer or a painter or whatever, right? But
Yeah.
our point with that motto was sort of that when you're a mom, you are inherently doing athletic things, you're
True.
schlepping a kid around on your hip, you got a diaper bag, you got a
Yep.
coffee, you got a toddler pulling at you, and so like
True.
like balancing all that is quite athletic, right? You're putting
Absolutely.
your baby into the bed. We talk about this a lot in my office, like that's a hip hinge, so you need to have proper form for that and and know how to do it so that you don't hurt your back and that sort of thing. You're picking up the car seat, you're doing all kinds of things. So we just sort of see that like even if you don't think of yourself as an athlete, you are doing athletic things, and we want to support women in all of those athletic endeavors, whether it's just like doing the normal mom stuff, which is athletic, or really high level athletics.
I love
And on the
that.
yeah, and on the other side of that is also how cool it is, in recent years, especially that we're seeing these moms who are professional athletes getting back to being professional athletes as moms, which is
Mhm.
so super inspiring.
Yes.
Seeing that they're finally getting the support that they need financially, emotionally, all these things. Is really cool too. And so we've had some high level athletes that we worked with that have gotten our bra. I've had some high level athletes that I've worked with as far as their like postpartum rehab. And so it's just really cool to see that piece. So
Yeah.
those are kind of two pieces where we were like, let's take our love for athletics, and this like really important piece of our lives that we know is important to other people. And then let's also support women in saying like, maybe you don't think of yourself as an athlete, but we do, and you are
Absolutely.
doing athletic things.
I think that is so incredible and true. I mean,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I never thought about it, but man, even now, my kids are 3.5. Even
Yeah.
prime example at preschool drop off this morning, my
Yeah.
son was very upset. He did not want to be there. And here I
Yes.
am, I'm picking up both kids, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
my son's the 30, 31, 32 pounds. My daughter's like 28 pounds. I got one
Yeah.
kid on one hip, one kid on the other. And I'm like, oh my gosh, these kids are getting
Yeah.
too heavy for
Like,
me.
that's
But
athletic, right?
it
Like, yes.
exactly, because the thing that makes it really interesting, and this is just sort of a side note for me, I've got a lot of spine issues. I've got multiple herniated discs. I had
Yeah.
hip surgery a number of years ago. I had a broken foot a long time ago. I had shoulder surgery. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff wrong with not wrong with. Lots of stuff has happened to my body, my poor body. But here I am holding my kids.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
first thought in my mind was, "Oh, there's a lot of pressure on my low back right now." And I sort of breathed for a second and I was like, "Okay, Carrie, you know what you need to do. It's all about body mechanics, right?" Because
Yeah,
this is stuff
totally.
I teach my clients.
Yeah.
So I'm a continuing education provider for massage therapists, right? And I teach this stuff in all of my classes because whatever
Yeah.
I'm teaching, it's all about proper body mechanics. And there's all
Mhm.
these different things where body mechanics comes into play. It's not just, God, for the longest time, I thought it was, I'm a massage therapist. I'm the only person who needs to worry about body mechanics because it's all about how I'm using it. No, you're a human
Yeah.
being. It's all about how you're picking things up. And when you are a parent, like you said,
Mhm.
you're holding your kid, or in my case, two kids, you're picking up this bag, you're picking up that, you're trying to juggle all these
Yeah.
things. And it's not just about being like, okay, how can I do this? It's about, okay, I got to be strong. I have
Yeah.
to be
Yeah. Totally.
able to use my body properly to do this all
Yep.
safely,
Yeah, exactly.
essentially,
Yep.
what it boils down to. So I think that's just so exciting. I think that's really cool. And I really love that motto for your
Yeah,
company.
thank you.
I really
Yeah.
do. I think that's really important to for people to realize, because I think sadly still, no matter how hard we keep trying, moms, we just don't realize how
Yeah.
strong we really are. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And no matter,
Totally.
and I just think we need to keep talking about it and keep being
Yes.
reminded that
Yeah.
we are strong, we are powerful, and anyway,
Yeah,
you get the
totally.
gist. So let's change track here for a minute. Let me ask you some of my fun questions that I like to ask
Yeah.
my guests, because some of these questions are silly, like the second
Yeah.
one. And the first one's a little more serious, but I like to ask all of my guests these questions. I think they're really fun. So let's start with, who would you say are the three, or have been the three most inspirational or influential people in your life? And these don't have to be people you know, they
Right.
can be. They can be anyone, really. So yeah,
Yeah.
let's see what your answers are.
I know. I know you asked these questions, so I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's so hard." Okay. So I'm going to pick, because I thought about it a little bit, it's a very hard question.
It is a hard
Number
question.
number 1, well, in no particular order, obviously, when I give you the answers. My grandma, so my mom's mom is probably, the most influential person that I've actually, like, physically met. She was just such a force of nature. She was so far ahead of her time as far as, like, she could, like, rewire the lights in the house. She could just do, like, all kinds of things that, like, traditionally, like, women back then weren't doing. And she was just always playing with us, like, hard. She taught us to, like, ride dirt bikes and shoot
That's
little
fun.
BB guns out in the woods, like crazy stuff like that. So she was just a matriarch of our family, and just loved everyone she met. She'd give
Love
you
it.
the shirt off her back. So she was a big influence in my life and passed away a number of years ago. But so she's number one, or my first one. The second one I think would be Jesus, because whether or not you believe he's God, his teachings were amazing, and I just think he's super influential to me.
Awesome.
And then the third, I was sort of stuck because I sort of want to say my husband, because he is just um so different and motivated in things that I'm not, and we're just very complimentary, and I just adore him. He's the sweetest man. Um, and I'm like, and he's like just so chill.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to say him, but I also kind of want to say Brene Brown, because, and I've never met her. But I think just her teachings on vulnerability and shame have been really impactful in my life.
Yeah.
And I think in a lot of people's lives, and just being able to talk about some of that stuff openly and like teach on that, I think she is really amazing. So I'll
That's
give them
awesome.
they get a tie.
I like that. You can have a tie. I like
Yeah.
that. That is those are great answer. I mean,
Yeah. Thank
it's
you.
such a I
Thanks.
say that to every single person, and
Yeah.
everybody's
Well, it's hard
answers are
you don't
great,
have a
but
bad answer, right? Yeah.
right, how could you possibly have a bad answer to that question? But it's always
Yeah.
cool to hear, you know, how
Yeah.
people feel about that. So here's my other one. This one can be kind of silly.
Yeah.
Um, doesn't have to be silly. So
Yeah.
the idea is you get to have a dinner party, gathering, soiree, whatever it is, with
Yes.
three people, dead or alive, fictional or real. They don't have to be people. They can be whatever you want. I mean, I've had
Yeah.
all kinds of answers to this question, and I love it. They can just be concepts. They can be ghosts, they can be spirits, they can be characters from a book, they can be animals, they can be I'm
Oh
looking around
man.
trying to get some inspiration here, but I can't think of anything. So it's
Okay.
whatever you want,
Okay.
which makes it much
I
harder.
don't think I'm that creative.
And
I'm like
it doesn't
a
have to be.
concept. So okay,
Hmm.
so I did think about this one. The first one I think would be Serena Williams.
Oh,
Because
great one.
I couldn't you just like ask her a million questions,
Yes. Yes.
Like
Mm-hmm.
just such an interesting life, and just there's just I want to ask questions about like everything from when she was a
Everything.
child, about her businesses, about her championships, about her sister, the relationship. Like I just have so many questions. So,
I think what would happen to me is I would get starstruck. No
oh
matter
yeah.
how hard I would try, I would just
Yeah.
stare at her and be like, "You're
Yes.
amazing. Hi.
Yeah.
I wanted
Yeah.
to ask you something, but I can't remember what it is because my
Oh
mind would
my
go
gosh.
blank." But yeah,
There's
I think that's such a yeah, she's incredible.
there's one year, I'll just quick story at the CrossFit Games. So I'm a CrossFit coach. If you know CrossFit at all, there's this gal, Annie Thor's daughter. She's sort of like been around since the beginning. She's like the darling of CrossFit, right? So one year I was working at the CrossFit Games. This was like 2014 or something. And so we're around all the athletes. I don't generally like get very starstruck by athletes usually, and I'm just so it's fine, whatever. We're there all weekend. At one point, there's like these big trailers that are the bathrooms, and they're very fancy inside. And so we come out, and I'm washing my hands. Annie Thor's daughter is right next to me, and she's washing her hands. And I wanted to say hi so bad because I hadn't actually met her or worked on her or anything, and I like couldn't say anything. I was just like, oh, like she's like right there, I was like, just say something, and I could no words,
Nothing.
no
Couldn't.
words could come out. And actually, when we started Jen Keri, we reached out to her, and she was having her daughter, and so we were gonna send her a bra, and I like got to message with her a little bit
Oh
on
my
I think it was
gosh.
like on Instagram, and we didn't end up sending one because then her daughter was older and she's in Iceland, whatever. But I was like, oh, wait, I messaged her. It's like the only person I've ever been like so starstruck by. I like literally
I
couldn't even.
I am gonna tell you a quick story, and I really feel like you'll get this. So I
Yeah,
had the opportunity once. I can't share names because confidentiality, but I had the
sure,
opportunity
sure.
once to massage an Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah, yeah,
And it was one of those things where I saw her name and I was like, "Oh my god,
yeah.
I okay." And I had to like pep
Breathe,
talk
breathe,
myself. I was like,
breathe.
"Kara, stop shaking." And for me, it was like multi-level here. Like it
Totally,
was
yes.
like, and I feel like because of who you are and what you're passionate about, you'll understand that part of it, because it's like,
Yes.
to me, Olympic athletes are like,
Oh, yeah, totally.
I mean, incredible. Especially, I mean, gold medal. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, right. The best in
But
the world, obviously. Yeah.
right. And as a massage therapist, for me, I was like, I get to work on her muscles.
Yeah.
Like I get to feel them. I
Like,
get to
touch her.
help her.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? I mean, I was like, the whole time, I
Totally.
just
Yes,
remember
I get
thinking,
it.
are my hands shaking? Am I breathing too loud? My heart is racing. I don't know if I can calm down. And
Mm.
it wasn't the first time that I had massaged a professional athlete or
Yeah.
someone I admired, but it was different somehow. And it
Yes.
was that kind of moment, like when she left, I was like, uh-huh, okay.
I get it.
Her
Yeah.
words aren't a thing. Like it was so strange. So I
Yes.
completely, I mean, I know it's slightly different situation, but
So
that
funny.
starstruck thing where you're like, you're incredible.
I
I don't know how
know.
to talk to
So
you. And then you get
awesome.
to message with her and you're probably like,
I know.
this
And
is
then
so
you realize
cool.
that like they're people too,
Right.
and
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know, like some of the mystery gets taken away, which is so nice,
Yeah.
because and especially with like her, because she's a mom, and like I was like, she's a mom too. Like, there's you're like, we have a lot in common, more in
Yeah.
common than not, So anyway.
Totally. I so get
Um,
that. That's
okay, my
awesome.
dinner party. So I got Serena. I'm so torn. I think Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I think would also, yeah, I'm just gonna have all the strong women there, Because
Totally.
how awesome. Again, so many questions about how she pioneered for women and just like I would want to hear like all the like drama,
Yeah.
with all the guys
Oh
and how
yeah.
like put them in their
Totally.
place. And yeah, so
Love
she's
it.
awesome. And then again I'm torn. See, I guess I'm indecisive. So I have a tie for Michelle Obama because hello,
Mm,
obviously,
yeah. I mean, yeah,
um
I agree with that one too. Oh,
she's
you're
just
speaking my
amazing.
language.
And then I gotta throw one guy in just to
That's fine. You
be,
throw
a
whoever you
little
want
more
in
yeah.
there. It's your party.
I don't know if you know him, but there's an author and speaker that I just adore. His name is Bob Goff, and
Hmm.
he, is just, like, the happiest, most joyful person, I think, in the world. He's just amazing. He wrote a book called Love Does that, like, I try to read, like, once a year. He has a bunch
Mm-hmm.
of good books, but that one really it's just about loving people and how, the ugly the creepiest, like, whatever people, like, need love too,
Yeah.
and everyone has a story that we don't know about, and, so we should just love them, and so I think his, like, teachings and books are I would just love to, like, pick his brain too. He's just really interesting. So, he puts
Yeah.
his phone number in his books and literally answers, like, every call that comes in, and, like, just, like, some crazy stuff like that, So,
That's so
yeah,
cool.
I would really wanna pick his brain too, so
Yeah, I can
and he
understand
yeah,
why.
he ties with Michelle Obama, so he must be pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. Michelle Obama. I mean, gosh,
Right.
I just adore her. I hear
Yes.
her name and I'm like, where?
I
And
know,
it's like
like,
on the TV. I'm
"Ah."
like, what channel? How
Yeah.
can I see this? How can I
Yes.
be there? How quickly can we make this happen? I just
Yeah.
love her. Those are awesome answers.
Thank you, thank
Again,
you.
they're very personal, but I
Yeah.
just love it. All right, then I have just one last question for you. It's a
Yeah.
simple one. Where can our listeners connect with you? Learn more about you, what you do, your
Yeah.
companies. Where can they connect with all that
Yeah,
you
so we
do?
do all the social medias, right? So, Jen and Keri, it's Jen and Keri. We're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, jenandkeri.com is our website. And you can read more about our story there, reach out to us. The bras obviously are available there. And we try to post a lot of stuff. I usually post like informational videos about either nursing or postpartum fitness, of course, getting back into things, rehab, that sort of stuff. And then also my personal is Dr. Karlie, also on Instagram and TikTok, and my website's karliecausey.com. So between those, man, you can find basically everything you ever wanted to know about me and about us.
That's awesome. I love it. That's so great.
Yeah. Thank
Well,
you.
Karlie, I just want to take a second here and thank you for being here with me today. Thank you for all of your patience when we had to reschedule so many times. I'm so
It's
glad we
mom
made
life.
this work, right? All the time, no matter how hard you try. I've been looking forward to this for a long, long time. So I'm
Thank
so,
you.
so glad. So thank you. Thank you for being here, telling me all this exciting stuff. I'm
Yeah,
psyched.
thanks for all that you do too. We just appreciate so much all that you're putting out in the world for new moms and giving them support. It's really great. So thank you.